Hi everyone, welcome to my channel again. I hope everyone had a good holiday. I wanted to pick up where I left off a couple days ago, and I was speaking about identifying the spirits, right? And being able to kind of tell when somebody is operating through certain spirits. Well, not really somebody, but like on ourselves, right? Because all of this starts with us. And so before we go ahead and we start looking at other people and picking at other people, we first have to take the time to look within and identify what spirits we're operating under. And this is how we're going to get to forgiveness for ourselves and to be able to give that to other people. And another thing is that when we forgive other people, that's mostly for us, you know. And we can also do that energetically because the goal of it all is to be able to forgive everyone, not pass judgment, and move on, right? And that is no matter what has happened. And that doesn't mean we have to keep engaging with these people. We just have to be able to come to a place of forgiveness and genuinely mean that and internalize it to the point of truly forgiving at our core, where we're not holding resentment, we're not holding any grudges. We are wishing people well and moving on, right? And if sometimes that means that we have to love them from a distance, then that's what we do. Because at this point, at this level that we're at, our peace is no longer something that we put on the battlefield. We do not sacrifice our peace for anything. It's just there's no price for peace. There, at least for me, I'm not gonna jeopardize my peace or put it on the line for nobody. That's just me though. That's just my personal opinion. But moving on, moving on. So we're going to speak about. Well, we were speaking about certain spirits, right? And how the law of polarity, for everything good there's something bad, right? So some people operate with good spirits, and we have both. Like, they never go away, just to be clear. We have both. They are internally inside of us. We just learn how to not operate from those spirits anymore, right? How to keep them in check, how to ascend from those lower realms, profiles, to say the least. So they're there. You know, it's like, I'll give you an example. It's like lust, right? Like the example of lust, right? You know, we're adults. We might want to do something, right? But do we go ahead and do it? Once we ascend, once we operate at a higher frequency, we no longer engage in that. And so when we heal, we basically ascend from the lower realms of operating through those negative emotions of fear, guilt, shame, remorse, lust, greed, right? They don't just, like, go away. So I'm not like, oh my god, I'm a saint. I don't ever get jealous. I don't ever, like, operate under these entities, under these spirits. It's that we're able to identify them and choose with our free will to not engage, to not operate through those, because we like to be at a higher frequency. So it's much simpler than we think, and it's not about never again dealing with them. It's about being able to identify them and choosing not to engage with it. And once we learn to identify it and we consciously choose to do something different, it becomes a habit. And then little by little, the more we exercise our free will in that term, then it just becomes like second nature to us to not do certain things. It's like, for example, with me, like when I changed my diet, when I stopped eating meat, now it's just second nature. That's just what I do. I don't eat meat. It's not something that I have to think about. Do I want to eat meat today? Should I? No, I don't want to. Like that. Or like, well, let me just stay on track. Let's stay on track. We were speaking about spirits and how we identify them. So I was giving the example of addictions last week, or it wasn't last week, it was a couple of days ago. I was given the example of addictions because, I used to be in addictions before. And so when I was in addiction, you could tell that I was in active addiction because it would manifest in the physical vessel. You could see that something was going on there, right? And then another manifestation of that is that I was putting something into my body. So I was consuming the weed. I was drinking the alcohol. Okay, hold on. And we're back. I was consuming something. I was physically consuming something, right? And so that was another manifestation of addictions, right? And so when we speak about other addictions, such other spirits, right, such as, let's say, greed, right? When we speak about greed, that is another form of addiction, right? It's you want more, where there is more money, more hoard. You know how people are hoarders, where they always want to have more of things, and they're just picking up stuff and bringing it in, and their apartments are full of stuff, right? They want more. That's another form of addictions. They want more clothes, more food. It's more, right? The same thing with like sex addicts, right? They want more sex, right? What else? Lust, right? The same thing with lust. It's more. So when we think about most of these spirits, they're addictions. They're spirits of addiction. Right? And so with that understanding, now the way that they manifest into our physical reality and how we operate as human beings and how they operate through our vessel, then that's where it gets tricky, right? Because some spirits are able to be seen, like with people who use drugs and alcohol. You're going to see that the person's drunk, right? You're going to see that the person's high, right? Because at some point, it'll just be visible. So now we got to the point where you're able to see it, like in certain spirits, right? But now let's talk about somebody who's not, like, it doesn't manifest, like it doesn't show, but internally they carry that spirit inside of them, right? So let's say jealousy, envy, greed, lust, and they're able to hide it well. And now they're like Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They have different facades for wherever they go. You understand what I'm saying? So to the naked eye, it's not visible. So this is why we have to become aware of the spirits that are around and that operate through people, right? And that not everything is visible to the naked eye, right? And that's okay. That's okay, because we don't need to know everything. We don't have to be walking around with like a microscope just looking around to see, let me identify this. No. Well, what I would encourage us to do is to just look at ourselves and start the healing journey so that we make better choices for ourselves with our own free will. And so we don't fraternize with that was another word. We don't fraternize with the diabolicals. Yeah, we just don't. Or once we are able to identify certain spirits in other people, right, we can then choose with our free will if we want to engage with them. And so my phone keeps falling. I don't know why, but that's okay. I'm gonna go to part 2.